Hello everyone. All right, I'm just gonna give a second for a few more people to join, and then we get started. Happy Sunday. All right, let's just wait for a few more people to join. Hello. All right. Hi everyone. Thank you for connecting. Please signal if you can hear me. Just text and say yes if you can hear me clearly, please. Just leave a comment to say yes if you can hear me, please. All right, I see a few more people connected here, please. All right, awesome. Thank you, Amaka. Thank you very much. All right, Wisdom, thank you for joining. Let's just give a few more seconds and then we will get started. Thank you for joining. I see actually 7 people on YouTube live. On TikTok, I see 14 people. Thank you for joining. I've had a whole lot of technical issues today. I have no idea why, but the devil is a liar. All right. Yeah, all right. So once we get to 10 people, we will get started. Thank you for joining. So today is going to be very, very exciting. I hope so. It's a special day for me, and I'm sure for many other people as well. Thank you for joining. So for those who may not know me, my name is Karen Fomafung, commonly known as your Agile Evangelist. So today is a very exciting day for me because I am actually launching my first book. And I have, put so much work into this, and I have been looking forward to this day where I will call this book done, the first version, because I consider this to be the first version done, and it has finally happened. So I'm very excited, and I really hope that this book will be valuable, and it's going to reflect the purpose of why I decided to write it in the first place when people read it. Thank you so much, Hakim. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that is what we'll be discussing today. And then secondly, which to me is also very important, we will be having a guest. Our guest will be joining in the next 30 minutes. And what we'll be discussing is he is going to share his life story. His name is James Tandor. He is a senior Scrum Master, and I have been privileged to have mentored him, at some point through his journey. So he will be joining us today to also share his real life success story as an agile practitioner. He will be sharing with us the details of how he started in the first place, where he has been, his success, his challenges, and a general overall picture of what a real life in the Scrum Master looks like, in the life of a Scrum Master looks like. So please, as you join, go ahead and share. And if you find value in this content, if you appreciate what we've been doing here, if you appreciate our message and our platform, please make sure that you are liking, you're sharing this thing. You can support us. There are different ways to support us. Please make sure that you're showing us that support, because it is the same way I come here to motivate you all. That motivation also, I need it, to keep going. So thank you so very much. Well, without further ado, we are already 7 minutes after 2. I'm going to get started. So for those on TikTok, I struggled to connect on Facebook, but it didn't work. I don't know why. So for those on TikTok, thank you also for joining. TikTok also is very new to me. I'm still learning how to do all the live things, but I will also appreciate your support. So again, for those who are just connecting right now, No problem, Rigo. I would do that. For those who are just connecting right now, the purpose for this live session is to launch my first ever book. The title of the book is From Day One to Success. Let me put the title there. Just give me a second here. So, From Day One to Success, a step by step. All right, let me get this title from a handy place and paste it so that everyone can know and see what is going on here. All right, so right on your screen, that is the title of the book. From Day One to Success, a step-by-step guide for Scrum Masters joining a new organization. That's the title of the book. So, first of all, I just want to really appreciate our Being Agile community because they actually birthed the idea to write this book, knowing or unknowingly. How? Through their many questions that they typically ask from day to day, especially when they just landed their first offer. Or maybe they are already working in the organization and then they are being transitioned into a new project. They reach out to ask so many questions. Or maybe they are being transitioned to join another team still in the same organization, or they are transitioning from one organization to the other organization. And then I realized that they typically ask the same questions. There was a pattern. I could identify a pattern in the kind of questions that they would ask. Even on social media, on YouTube, people would come on there and ask this similar questions. And then I also recall that when I just started my Scrum Master journey, when I got into my very first and second organization, the very first week, or right up to 3 months, I struggled to understand how to get started so that I am keeping this job. I was so passionate about having this job. It wasn't, to me at that point, it wasn't even about, okay, how do I really deliver value? I wasn't even thinking about it that way because I didn't have enough guidance. To me, what was most important at that time was, how do I keep this job? So I started doing my best, looking for materials, looking to call people that were already doing this so that they could guide me. But I couldn't even find a single person that could really, sacrifice their time to guide me through this. That is when I started making my own little notes. I started crafting my own path on my own. Started testing things out, trying things out, and making adjustments and gathering my lessons learned, celebrating, jotting down my little wins, and then analyzing what I'm learning so far, making patterns on, okay, identifying the things that are working, the things that are not working, and then I'm making adjustments as I go. So, as I have been privileged to be a coach and a mentor to many other people, I see them asking these same questions. I'm like, I've been there. I have been there. And I don't have that capacities to be able to meet up to the needs of all this many people at once. I find myself getting overwhelmed, getting burnt out. So I'm like, okay, what if I am able to structure some information in one place where we can reach so many people that could find themselves in this situation? Not only that, as I have been doing this training of Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, and other Agile practitioners, mentoring them, coaching them, all through my years doing this, I always have these students that, after they go through the program, they'll reach out to me and they're like, because I have been privileged to meet people from all walks of life, all background through what I do. They're like, Karen, you have a lot of information in your head. Your head actually is like a library. Why don't you write books? You just have too much to share. Why don't you write books? Thank you so much, Mary Siri. That's actually my mom. I appreciate you. So that is how I'm like, okay, I don't think I can actually have that composure to put something in order and in structure that anyone will want to read. They keep telling me. One of my students even reached out to me, one on one, that he has something to talk about. And shout out to Mr. Emeka, that's his name, Joshua. So he reached out to me and he has something to talk about. I thought he wanted to talk about his journey, because he was my mentee at that time, and he is also a publisher by profession. And then I'm like, what's going on? He said, like, Karen, I really want to talk to you about this. I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And he's like, Karen, you need to write a book. Really. Let's forget about Agile for today. I think you really need to write a book. I'm like, okay, why do you think so? He's like, you just have too much information in your head. And I'm very sure that your book will be helping so many people out there. And then I'm like, oh, I don't think that is part of my goals for that was last year. For last year, it's not even part of my goal this year, but I'll think about it. And he's like, anytime you make up your mind to do this, which I know you will be successful, let me know and I'll be so happy to help you. And then I just got up, this year in the middle of April. I'm like, I will do this. It wasn't part of the plan. And then as people continue to ask me these same questions, I was so burnt out. I was so overwhelmed. I said, okay, it's time. I don't need to do the long planning and anything. It's time. Let's put this down. And that's how I started writing this book. And within 3 months, it went through all the due process. And here we are today. So that is the little background story of how I came about writing this book, From Day One to Success, a step-by-step guide for Scrum Masters joining a new organization. I'm just going to share with us the value proposition of this book. And I'm going to be reading it from the book directly. So I'm going to be reading some little excerpts from the book here and there. And by the way, this book is already live on Amazon. If you go to Amazon, you can type my name, Karen Fomafung. You should be able to see it. Or you type From Day One to Success, a step-by-step guide for Scrum Masters joining a new organization. You should be able to see it. So I'm just going to read the value proposition to you. I hope you enjoy this. All right, let's go. So this inspiring and comprehensive guidebook takes you through the crucial first 90 days as a Scrum Master and beyond, providing practical step-by-step strategies, real-world scenarios, tools, and insights to thrive in your new role. This book covers everything from preparing to join your organization, building relationships, and guiding agile adoption to facilitating effective meetings, managing conflicts, and leaving a positive legacy. With authenticity, humor, and actionable advice, this guide empowers Scrum Masters to navigate challenges, foster collaboration, and achieve continuous improvement. Whether you're a beginner or experienced Scrum Master starting in a new organization, assigned to a new team, moving to another part of an organization, or seeking to enhance your skills in an existing role, this step-by-step guide will equip you with the knowledge and tools to excel. This book is your roadmap to success in the dynamic world of Agile in your new organization. So that is the value proposition of the book. One thing I also like to share is that, for those that are already in the field, Ethel, thank you so much and happy Sunday. For those who just joined, thank you for joining. Today we are launching our new book, From Day One to Success, a step-by-step guide for Scrum Masters joining a new organization. Like I was saying, one thing we should know is that for those that are already working, you should know this. No 2 days are ever the same in the life of a Scrum Master. However, there are some things that are standards that, even though these things are standard, again, in different organizations, you may be doing it differently, but there are some standard things that we want to put in place to say that we are doing Agile and we are doing Scrum. So this book takes into account all of that. And what is so beautiful about this book is not just about writing notes and all of that. I actually shared like 80% of the book is my real life experience. So I gave context on the different things that I'm going to give an overview of the book. the different things, and then I, on every point that I'm mentioning, on the things that you need to focus on as you join this organization, I gave real life example on my own experience or scenarios to help you really be able to relate to real world, and to also help you understand how to apply whatever it is that I'm talking in this book. That is the beauty of the book. So there are tons of real world scenarios that are highlighted in the book to help you, make things really easy for you to apply, if that makes sense. So right now, the next thing I want to do is I would just like to provide a summary of the contents of this book. So this book has 12 chapters, and the very first thing we talked about, even before we delve into any of these chapters, is I emphasize on the importance of the first 90 days of joining your new organization. Why do you need to take these first 90 days so important? Thank you, Sophie. I appreciate you. Yes, so Ethel, the book is on Amazon. Again, as I go, please, if you have any question whatsoever, drop your questions in the comment section. I will do my best to address all the questions before we call it a day today. So I talked about the first 90 days, why these first 90 days are very, very crucial, and how you should approach these first 90 days. I gave a whole summary of it, whether as a full-time employee or as a contractor. You have to take your first 90 days very seriously, because during these first 90 days is that time where they are looking to know more about you. They are looking to assess who this person is that they are working with, or they will be working with. They are looking to assess if they made the right decision in bringing you into that organization. They are creating that perception of you. And let me tell you, whether we like it or not, that is just how human brain is structured to function. During these first 90 days, it's usually enough that the perception they have gathered or built of you will be the perception that they will maintain throughout your stay in that organization, which is why these first 90 days are crucial for you to make it right. So this book helps you understand that, and also delve into how you would go about your first 90 days so that you are really making a positive impact. And then the next thing we talked about was preparing to start your journey. I don't want to call it journey, because whenever I say journey in my head, it seems like I'm saying that there is a start and an end. Yes, there is actually a start and an end. Maybe you will not be in that organization forever. But if this career path is something you've chosen as a career, again, there is a difference. Or let me put it this way, it's something you've chosen as work, not as a job, then it's going to be forever. And with that, I would like to call it an evolution, not a journey. So in the book, you would see that I mentioned so many words as evolution, which means that it is a continuous thing that never ends. You have to keep refining and refining. So the second chapter that we touched in the book is preparing to start your evolution in your new organization. As a Scrum Master, so I deep dive into the things that you should focus on as you prepare, from a people perspective and from a tool perspective and from your own introspection perspective, so that you are starting right. That is what is covered in that chapter. And then chapter 2, day 1. After all this preparation has happened, what next? Your very first day to start, or your first day, right? Because usually when they give you that offer, they will give you an official start date. So once this official start date is given to you, you want to make sure that you're so prepared to start right, to make that positive first impression, from how you look to how you speak, to how you carry yourself, to how you're observing things, to how you're asking questions, to how you're taking notes, to how you're being organized, and all of that. And by the way, before I go any further, I want you all to understand that this book, so the thing I was trying to achieve with this book is not to create so many pages just to say that I'm writing a book or write a big book. No, that wasn't the point. Just like the Scrum guy was focused in making things so lean, and which is why it only has 13 pages. I mean, the Scrum guide, it only has 13 pages, only focusing on what they thought is needed for a Scrum team to be successful is the same analogy that I carried into this book. So this book only has 79 pages. Only 79 pages, really. And these 79 pages, I want to assume that Henriette, okay, I want to assume that this 79 pages, every single word and every single page of this book, my intention was to make sure that they all had some value to offer. Think about the 10th principle of agility. Maximizing the work not done is essential. That is simplicity. So that was my thought process when I was writing this book. I didn't just want to make so many pages which would not be valuable. So just so you know. All right, so we touch on the first day, and then the next chapter touch on shadowing and observation. As a Scrum Master, at some point, you will need to assume the role of a shadower and an observer. So I deep dive into that, guiding you on how to do it, giving my own real world examples on how I have done it, things to expect, and all of that. And then the next chapter, building trust and credibility. That is a huge part. Your first 90 days, that's a big part of what you'll be looking to achieve. So this book also touched on that and gave examples of how I have done it so that you can easily relate and you will know when you're going about things right or you're not going about things right. And then chapter 6 touched on guiding your agile adoption. So after we've gone through all the first chapters that I've highlighted, and I think at that point you should have enough information to hit the ground running. And that's why guiding your agile adoption is around chapter 6, so that at that point you already know, you have some sense of what's going on in the organization so that you're helping them right. Yeah, so I also shared some examples on what you should expect during that time and how you should go about guiding, start doing your job, which is what you're hired for. And then once you kick the ground to start guiding your adoption, another very important thing that you want to start doing is creating and tracking your measurable performance goals as a Scrum Master. You see, so you want to set some goals for yourself that you'll be looking to achieve. So I also gave an example on some of the things you should focus on how to come up with those goals and all of that. And I'm so excited to share that our guest is already in the studio right now waiting. So he will be joining us in a bit. Awesome, Mary. Mary is saying that her copy just came. Great. I hope you find value in it. And I'm so excited waiting for your review on what you really think about the book. All right. And then, so I covered some examples on things that I would capture as my performance goals from a Scrum Master perspective, and then how to measure these goals and track them as you go. And then the next chapter covers on facilitating and engaging teams. That's a big part of your job, which is why I typically tell people that, Scrum Masters, as a Scrum Master, what you see in the Scrum Guide is only 20% of the reality, really. The remaining 80% is not in the Scrum Guide, which is why everybody needs a mentor. So this chapter 8 covers, what it means to be a facilitator and how to engage teams. Chapter 9, we talked about conflict management and team collaboration. That's something that is inevitable in an agile environment. Agile, thank you for joining and thank you so much. For all those that just joined, we are actually launching my first ever book, From Day One to Success, a step-by-step guide for Scrum Masters joining a new organization. This book is already on Amazon, so if you type it on Amazon, you should see it there. You should be able to grab a copy, and please, as you get your copy, so for those that have Amazon Prime, you can actually get the Kindle version completely free of charge, and I'm really, really, really eager to hear what you think about the book so that we can make adjustments as we go, because it's not going to end anytime soon. We will be getting more books out there. All right, and now conflict management and team collaboration is another thing that we covered in the book. And again, I shared my real world examples on how I have done these things so that you can feel free to steal my examples. All right, and then another important thing we captured, which is chapter 10, overcoming challenges and pitfalls. The job of a Scrum Master is not a walk in the park. I'm very sure Jay will be joining us soon, and he will be sharing, his real life story as and he's actually a senior Scrum Master, and you hear that, yeah, he's been successful, but it has not always been rosy like some people think. Okay, so this book also covers some of the challenges that I have encountered and gave some guidance on how to overcome some of these challenges. And then continuous improvement. If you have decided to call yourself an agile practitioner, you just need to fall in love with learning, continuous learning. And the same spirit would be the same spirit you bring to your teams and empower them to continuously learn and improve. It never ends. So this book also touched on that and how to do it, and how I have done some specific scenarios on how I have done it myself. All right, and then the last but not the least chapter, this book also covers color, celebrating success and leaving a positive legacy. Sometimes we work and we forget the essence of celebrating. Yes, we may tend to celebrate the teams. How about ourselves? This book also touch on how you should manage your own self, your own mental health, so that your well-being, to manage your overall well-being as a Scrum Master. I'm telling you, a job that has to deal with dealing with many people, with human beings, grown-ups, it's not easy, really. So this book wouldn't have been complete if I did not touch on the importance of staying healthy, focusing on your well-being, so that you can better serve your teams, because again, you cannot give what you don't have. You see, so this book touched on that, and then celebrating success and leaving a positive legacy. There'll be times when you may choose to leave that organization. Okay, how are you leaving that organization? Are you just calling them and say, I'm not coming anymore, bye, and then you move on? You don't want to do that, because you never know tomorrow. Or maybe you're moving from one department to the other, still in the same organization. How are you going about that? Or maybe you're moving from one project to another project, still in the same organization. How are you going about that? So this book actually touched on all of that, really. And everything I just highlighted here is what contains the 79 pages of the book. So, well, I hope you all, as you go, get your copy, please, on Amazon. So if you check on the comments that is pinned on this chat, you would see that there is the link there. There is a link there. So if you click on that link, it should take you straight to the Amazon site where you would get your copy. And as you get your copy, please make sure that you're leaving us your feedback. It is extremely critical. Leave us your feedback so that we know how we are making adjustments, and we are celebrating our little wins and stuff like that. So overall, I just want to say thank you. That is really the content of the book. But before I go, I just want to say this. I just also want to read the preface of this book before. No. Let me not read the preface. I think there is another thing very interesting I would like to do instead. I want to instead read the acknowledgements of the book. Let me go ahead and read the acknowledgements of the book. Which, if I don't do this, I don't think this show is complete. And again, make sure you're hanging on there, because James is already in the studio right now, waiting to be let in. So in the next 2 minutes, our guest James Tandor will be live with us. So let me go ahead and read the acknowledgement. So I would like to express my deepest gratitude and appreciation to my family, friends, colleagues, and students who have contributed from the conception to the delivery of this book, from day one to success. A step-by-step guide for Scrum Masters joining a new organization. Your wisdom, experience, and constructive feedback have significantly enriched its content. First and foremost, I want to thank my beautiful kids, Royal Fomafung and Heavenly Peace Fomafung, who are why I was determined to complete this book. I always teach them the importance of stop starting and start finishing. They held me down on this project, and because I wanted to lead by example, I kept going until done. I want to thank my Being Agile consulting community, professionals, mentees, students, and all the dedicated Scrum Masters who tirelessly work to foster business agility and enable organizational success. Your passion, courage, and commitment to succeed with Agile inspired me to write this book and share my experience. I am immensely grateful to the professionals and organizations who graciously share their real world experiences and case studies, allowing me to present practical examples and lessons learned. Your contributions have added depth and authenticity to the guidance offered within these pages. Lastly, a special thanks goes to my family for their unwavering love, patience, and understanding. Your support and belief in me have been my constant motivation. To all who played a part, big or small, in the creation and publication of this book, please accept my heartfelt thanks. Your contributions have been invaluable and I sincerely appreciate your involvement, Karen Fomafung. Thank you so much for listening. And right now, that's it. That's it, really, Tim. So please run to Amazon and get your copy. We will be doing a physical launching as well in my location. And I hope you are able to make it as well. I hope this inspired you and I hope you'll be getting your copy. And please, very important, your feedback is critical. I will be very, very, very expecting your feedback. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I'm going to be bringing James on right now. So let's go. Okay, so we have James sitting right on the other side.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, that's how I call him. You're very welcome. So I have been so blessed to have had the privilege to work with James, through being agile, at some point during his career, which is why we had maintained a relationship right up to this point, and which is why I am so excited that James is not just an agile practitioner, he is reflecting the spirit of an agile practitioner, which is what? Having that passion to share with the community so that, or just a way of giving back so that other people can benefit from his wealth of knowledge as well. So that is the reason why James is here. Not to take anything, I didn't pay James a single dime. Let to come on here and share his experience. So without further ado, I'm going to be giving James the floor to introduce himself to us all, and we go from there. Thank you so much, James. We are very excited to have you.
I am excited to be here, Karen. You're
Oh,
such
let
an
me see. I don't think
inspiration.
we can hear you though. We cannot hear you.
1 second. You guys, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Okay. All right, coach, can you hear me? You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Awesome. Great, 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 great.
I have a
Collins, 1 second here. Collins, yes, you missed the beginning, but the good news is you can always go back and watch the replay. So we just only completed the launching of our first book, From Day One to Success. That's the title on the screen. Right now we are moving on to the next phase. So I guess, Collins, you are actually starting when it's getting really sweeter. So we have our guest here, Jay Tando, and he's just about to introduce himself. So please go ahead.
Hi, Coach. What I was saying earlier was you're such an inspiration. I still call you the Jesus Christ of Scrum, because you saved me and you broke a lot of things down in a way that was so easy to understand. And thank you for the opportunity and, bringing me up here to share my experience and my journey with Agile and Scrum. I'm excited. So, as Karen mentioned, my name is James Asankomatando. I've been a Scrum Master for about 5 years now. I've been in the works for a while, and I came across Coach, and she really mentored me and guided me in the direction that nobody else could have done. Currently, I work for Deloitte as a contractor, supporting one team. And it's been a journey. In the past, I've worked for companies such as DataLink and the U.S. Air Force, and currently at Deloitte. So it's been a journey. I can say I definitely have a lot of experience to share and how I got here. So, Coach, thank you for the invitation to be here. I am honored.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And we are very excited to have you. So, the question I have for you, the next question that we have for you is, how did you first become interested in the field of Agile and Scrum? And what motivated you to pursue a career as a Scrum Master? Because being interested in it is one thing, but deciding to pursue it and make that happen is a whole other thing. So, just share with us how you did that.
So earlier you were talking about how your family and your kids inspired you, motivated you to push through to actually execute and do this. For me, it was my family as well, especially my son. I was working a job that was not cutting it, and I just wanted a certain lifestyle, right? And I knew that if I kept going the way I was going, things were not going to go well for me. And I knew a friend, we're all young people trying to, find our space and, trying to succeed. And he told me, hey, he's heard about a new career path or job called Scrum Master. I was like, what is that? And he tried to convince me so much, but I was not in the right mental space to actually, go through it. I did get a certification. I was sitting on the certification. I got the PSM1. I was sitting on that for about a year, and I think God was trying to show me something like, okay, if you want to go the easy route, then you're gonna have to deal with what comes with easy route lifestyle, and life was really hard. So I was like, why am I sitting on a certification that could be, give me the lifestyle I want and also give me the flexibility to spend time with my family, especially, I work remote now. It's really nice. I don't have to wake up, dress up, put my makeup on, and drive to work. So I wanted a certain lifestyle. So I was doing my research, and one time I was on YouTube, because we all love YouTube, and I saw a beautiful lady called Karen Fomafung, and I was like, wow, this lady is different. She is really explaining things very well that nobody has ever done. So ever since I was, I never subscribed. I was kind of like, a ghost
Yeah.
listener. Every time I would just go through her stories, and she's always like, I've helped people get jobs, and she's always posting testimonials. I was like, you know what? Let me do this. So I took a big risk. I quit my, accountant. I was an accountant at that time. I quit it. I don't advise that, but for me, that worked for me because I wanted to put myself in a spot where I felt like this is my life. If I don't do it, then. So I quit it and I gave it about 2 3 months of focus. I signed up for her class. I actually didn't really have a lot of fun, so I took my mom's money that I was holding. So I was like, "Oh, please, let me get this job, otherwise my mom is gonna get me." But lo and behold, I signed up, and she guided me through the process, and the teams were amazing. The collaboration that we had and everybody sharing their success stories was very inspiring. And once I became part of that community, something happened with my mind because I wanted this. So the continuous process of me coming up, showing up every once a week, and just having the conversation, it built a neural path in my brain about Scrum. So I'll be sleeping and I'll just be thinking about this thing all the time, and it just became part of me. And eventually, I landed my first job, and I was like, "Whoa! I can't believe I did it!" Because I never thought I could do it, and I think that was the issue. Because mentally, I did not allow myself the chance to actually believe that I could do it. Once I broke through that, now I believe I can do anything. Not that I never thought I could not do anything, but it just opened my eyes to what I could do as a person and how I could grow within a few years. So um, that's my short story. Hopefully, it was short, but I'm just excited
Beautiful.
to be here. So
Beautiful, amazing. So, for everyone watching, I would just like to add this. I don't know if for those that have had the opportunity to, mentor people or train or being a teacher, you always know when you have that student in your class that you just know that this person will be successful. How? The way I do it, like within 3 to 4 days of new person joining, I usually know if this is going to be a long ride or, oh my God, this person is going to be one of my success stories. James was one of those people. How? Because when he came right off the bat, even though he's saying he never thought he could, from day one, I knew that he will. And the only condition for him to achieve why he's here is if he is able to forget about his glory, wherever he's coming from, and just be humble. And that was exactly what James did. I didn't have to tell him that, because sometimes I'll need to remind people that, okay, I know you have all this fancy background and all of that, but you're here for a reason. You just have to forget about all that, put your titles at the door and get it. I didn't have to do that with James, you know. And I could see a person that is hungry to achieve whatever, why he was there. And he did just that within his period of being in the program. His duration didn't have to expire. He achieved his goal. And he wasn't one of those that would call me every day or text me in the middle of the night, and he didn't do any of that, you know. So I just want to say thank you, really, because that usually means a lot to me when I see people that really understands what they are after and then they go after it without someone having to tell them or force them or do any of that. So I just wanted to add that. I really appreciate that. So our next question will be, share with us briefly or describe the organizations and teams you have worked with, highlighting any notable experiences or achievements.
Okay. I will keep it short. I will, since I work with Deloitte, I will mention Deloitte. So currently, I support one team at Deloitte. We're working on an app for the Air Force, which I can't really go into details, but basically that's what we're working on. Um, but in this scenario, we don't necessarily have a BA or a product owner, which is challenging. But hey, adaptability is part of Scrum. So the UI is kind of like the product owner, and we also communicate hand in hand with the client in our meetings. One of the challenges in this current team is when I joined, they didn't have any sort of metrics set up. They were just kind of doing the work, and I could tell they just didn't grasp what they were doing. They were doing it, but Scrum wise, they were just kind of doing anything. So the first thing I did was to set up the metrics so that we can observe the trends, how the performance and so on and so forth. They were very excited when that happened. They were like, "Whoa, this is cool!" We get to see velocity, capacity, all that. And they were not doing daily stand-ups every day, which was a big win for me. So about a month, 2 months in, um, you know, they were pushing back. They're like, this doesn't make sense. Why do we have to meet every day to talk about, what we're doing? And the simplest way I put it is, we are a team and we're working together. What happens if we're not talking every day about a product we're working on, and all of a sudden we complete a sprint and we're
Mhm.
like, oh, we forgot this. It's important we meet every day. Some people might say, oh, it's common sense, but to them it felt like too much work. So I started like, okay, well, it's only 15 minutes. We can just meet, and just have a conversation about what we're doing. It's not a status update. And that's one thing I observed, because they were kind of like, yeah, today I did this. And, so it felt like a status update. So I told them, this meeting is just for you guys to come and have the conversation, what to do. If anything has changed or we're still on course, just that. It's not a status update. Over a few sprints after, they did realize that, wow, this actually makes sense, because there were a lot of loopholes and things that were communication that were lost because they were not meeting every morning to have that conversation. And sometimes developers, when they're just left to themselves, they just kind of do whatever they want to do. But
Mhm.
that has served as a way to keep the team accountable to each other. And that was one of the challenges, and how I kind of maneuver to get daily stand up to be official. One of the things that I'm working currently on with them right now is to be able to get them to do refinements, because we don't necessarily do it. It's a collaborative thing that I do with the UI, since he represents the PO. So I've been writing user stories for the first time ever.
Oh, wow.
I'm writing acceptance criteria.
Oh
uh,
my God.
yeah. So that was very challenging, because
Mhm.
my previous organization, I had the PO, the BA, that will put it together, and
Mhm.
I'll facilitate the conversation of do follow ups, right? So this time around, I'm hands down deep into the work, technical ish, but it's been a learning curve and it's very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I am writing acceptance criteria, user stories, and helping the team achieve their goals, and being a great servant leader.
Amazing. I
Yep.
mean, I think this just highlights the point that I earlier made when I was talking about our new book, that in the life of a Scrum Master, no two organizations does it the same.
Yeah.
And no, there is no 2 days that are ever the same. So you all just heard, because to me, writing acceptance criteria shouldn't be what a Scrum Master should be doing. But now James is doing it in his organization. And to me, I see that as a win-win, because now he knows how to write acceptance criteria, even
Yeah.
though it's not what a Scrum Master would be doing. And that knowledge will never leave him. So I was actually going to ask you about sharing with us some of one success and one challenge. I think you just highlighted that. So we'll skip that question.
Okay.
And the next question I would have for you right now is what initially, I know you gave us a broad introduction when you started. So but I need us to be specific on this. What initially sparked your interest in becoming a Scrum Master? How did it happen? Like, were you sleeping? Did you dream about it? Were you having a conversation with a friend? Did you see it online? I just need to know where it started. And then how did you navigate any doubt or insecurities about your background or skill set? And the reason why I need us to talk about this is because this is the reality of so many people. They have actually heard about the Scrum in one way or the other, but yet they cannot just move forward because they keep thinking about the insecurities. Let me just put it that way. So how were you able to go through that, and you're here today?
So for me, what really sparked my interest was my close friend that told me about Scrum actually went through with it and got the job.
Mhm.
I was like, whoa, if he can do it, then I can do it. Because we had
Yeah.
no background in, Scrum, nothing. We were not IT, knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And he was living good, he was working remote and I was still working my, my accounting job, just, working really hard for less. So that really challenged me. I was like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. And then when I signed up, the things that helped me navigate was I think one thing that I learned from this course was I'm an audio learner. I know when I stopped working the accounting job, I was just kind of driving Uber, trying to make funds on the side. While I did that, I was always listening to our class sessions and people's interviews, and that really helped me grasp a lot of things and also understand how to approach uh, answering the interview questions. So that is what inspired me and how I navigated through you know, insecurity. For insecurities, I think you've talked about this, thinking or assuming positive intentions.
Hmm.
They were having a fight with our brain. There's always this conversation. Oh, you can't do it. Oh, you can do it. So which side do you want to pay attention to and actually focus, which is strong value, and actually go through with it. So for me, I think the mindset of just assuming positive intentions, because we seem to always kind of think negative a bit if we don't feel confident in an area, and working on my mental really helped too as well. So yeah, positive thinking.
Beautiful. I think just saying that, I just remembered a conversation I had yesterday with a mentee. It was my first time of meeting her actually. So this person is in Nigeria. There is some organization going on in Nigeria from the USA called Africa Agility. So I just saw this thing on LinkedIn asking for help from coaches to help coach girls in Nigeria. I decided to join yesterday. It was my first time of meeting them. So when I was paired in a room with this lady, and she was supposed to be asking me questions, and then so the first question she asked me, she said she's thinking of giving up this whole thing. She's actually learning to become a product manager, actually. So I'm like, what's going on? She's like, well, she's actually just wrapping up with the projects she's working on, but she doesn't feel like it's worth it because she feels like there is no job. It's all saturated, and who would want to hire her? And she knows that there are so many skills in USA, all these countries, and she's here in Nigeria. Who wants to hire her? I'm like, okay, why do you think nobody want to hire you? She's like, well, I don't know, Sha, she's telling me the Sha stuff. I'm like, I'm like, okay, why are you worried about everyone else? Why are you not worried about you? What's your business in all the other people out there that they may be hiring except you? Why don't you focus on you? You have no business with all these people. They don't even know you, really. So I told her, if I were you, I would focus on my only business would be building myself.
Right.
That would be my only business. building myself. My only worry would be I would channel all of that energy and put it towards how do I continuously sharpen myself. So when that opportunity presents itself, I am grabbing it. The only time I'll have a problem is when that opportunity presents itself and I'm not able to grab it because I wasn't prepared. That's the only time I will be so frustrated. For now, please, I see you have a lot of energy, which is amazing, but just that you're using it for the wrong reason. Channel all of that energy into you and tell tomorrow. I mean, I give you 1 year. If you follow this guidance I've given you, you will find me. It's my first time of meeting you, but I'm sure you will be texting me to tell me good news. Really, because I've helped so many people in Nigeria from Nigeria. Meanwhile, I'm here. So you shouldn't be different. And she was really smart. So I just wanted to add that. And it takes us now to the next question. How did you, I know you've shared some pieces here and there on some of the learnings you did, but I just want us to get full context on how did you approach acquiring the necessary knowledge and skills to excel in the role? Were there any resources or learning strategies that were particularly helpful?
Thank you very much, Coach, for that question. So I started with Scrum.org. Um, First of all, I downloaded the Scrum Guide and I read it over and over and over. I listened to audio tapes to grasp the basic concept of it.
Mhm.
And then from there, I took the exams, got the certification, which I was sitting on for about a year or so. But the necessary knowledge was just YouTube, your products on YouTube, your videos. I kept listening over and over. I could hear it just echo in my ears, even if I'm not listening. And for me, just the Scrum Guide, studying that, and just listening to podcasts on your videos and different avenues really helped me. I'm not much of a head down in the book person, but if I hear, I can understand and just push forward. So I think your videos were the best of all of them. I saw a few online, but it just didn't do it for me like yours did. So when we
Awesome.
talk about resources that help me excel, your platform did it for me.
Thank you. Good to know.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So aside from that and the resources, was there anything else at all? And how have you kept the learning alive? I think that's what we're looking to know.
So on how have I kept the learning alive? I try to on a daily basis listen to anything related to agility or Scrum, and also things with mindset. Because this Scrum space is a lot of mental gymnastics, and you need
Yeah.
to study,
Hmm.
keep improving, and learn about things. These people will challenge you. But you have to have a strong mindset to be able to push through. Even sometimes when things don't go wrong, it's okay. You learn from it and know not to do that again. So those are some of the things that I do on a daily basis to try to get me in the right mindset and also know that I'm continuously improving in my area of expertise.
Beautiful. So I mean, I think you're just speaking to one of the five Scrum values, which is courage. Be courageous enough to challenge yourself, challenge the status quo. In real life, trust me, it's not easy because you would see someone whose paycheck is like 6 times yours is talking, and you clearly know what this person is saying doesn't align. And
Wow.
then you're thinking, okay, this person should be the one paying me. How do I talk to this person? Like, that's not how it's done, all of that.
And
So it takes courage to do
yeah,
that.
add on to that, it's important you do. Nobody's gonna talk down on you just because you expressed your opinion. It's okay.
Yeah.
If
Hmm.
you don't, then you're actually setting the wrong example. You're supposed to be, encouraging your team members to open up and talk, even if it doesn't make sense. It's okay
Yes.
to do that.
Yes.
That's safety in the work environment. So yeah.
Yes, totally agree. So to that point, what really matters is your manner of approach. Really, if anytime, if I say, I speak to five people and four of them are mad at me, then I should be asking myself, how am I talking to these people? The how is really, really important. Yeah. So well, again, for those that are watching, please, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section. We will spend the remaining 10 minutes to address your questions. And this brings us to the next question. What advice would you give to individuals who are considering a career as a Scrum Master, but may feel hesitant due to their background or lack of experience in Agile. But before you answer this question, I heard you say you are not a heads down in the book person. James, buy my book. Don't do that.
So I was going to say, your book is going to be the very first well, not the very first, but your book definitely I'm going to buy because
Okay, you better be getting my book.
Agile and Karen is golden. So
Okay.
buy the book.
All right. I just want to make sure I put that out there before I forget.
Yes, I got you. I got you.
All right, awesome. All right, so would you want to please answer this question for us?
What advice would you give to individuals who are considering? I would say most importantly, work on your mindset. Um,
Okay.
nothing that when you set your mind to, you cannot do. This whole thing felt like an impossible thing for me to do, but once it came into fruition, I was like, wait, wow. So what was it that I was so afraid of? We create all these images in our head about ourselves, which are most of the time, sometimes not even true. So if you're considering this path, change your mindset, think positive, and know that it's possible. Just take it one day at a time. Learn a page a day if that works for you. Listen to something agile, and over time, it just becomes part of you, and you feel, very confident to talk about it. I still remember when I was doing my first interview, I was so nervous. It's not because I was nervous of the person, is just because deep down I felt like I didn't know much about, or maybe I was not as knowledgeable as whoever was interviewing me. Once I did the first time and I realized this is not even that bad, it's just a conversation.
Mhm.
So, regardless of color, race, we're all people. We all have our insecurities. But when you get to the interview and you're trying to get this thing, just have that conversation and be yourself.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you. I think you already touched on the next question I was supposed to ask you
You brought
about how important it is to have the mindset you're talking about. So we'll skip that one. And I would like you to just talk to the viewers on how important it is to have that mindset of continuous learning. You already touched on the most important aspect of the mindset, but when it comes to the learning, just touch on that.
So agility, Scrum, our world is changing, right? Now we have AIs, which some people are afraid it might take our jobs. Just imagine if you, as a person, never changed 10 years ago and you still acted as, I don't know, however how old anybody is, but if you still acted the same as you're a teenager right now, what would your life be like, right? Probably not fun because you haven't changed and times have changed. So you need to catch up. I think it's important, continuous improvement, for you to stay on top of your game and stay relevant. You know, this career field is very rewarding. Would you not like continuously improve yourself to lose it, or you would continuously improve that? At least for me, my motivation is, hey, I need to keep this thing going, so I'm gonna continuously learn so that I can also support my team and
Mhm.
bring value to organizations when I join. Not just sit in meetings and listen. So it's important you do, because if you don't, you realize that a lot of things, even the Scrum guide is constantly, changing every
Mhm.
year or two. I'm not sure with the cadence, but it's important you know what's current in the career space you work.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So I know that you already mentioned that some of the mentors that really inspired your journey and helped you through. I know you mentioned me, which I'm very grateful. So aside from Karen as an individual and the resources that you've already mentioned, were there any other specific platforms that really helped your learning?
Um,
Well, to me, I can reference my internal Being Agile community because that is also a force to reckon with.
mhm.
So I just want to know if there is anything else you have to add on that.
That would be my best friend who was already in the field.
Mhm.
I would constantly buzz him, ask questions about things, and we'll have these conversations because he was already doing
Beautiful.
it for about a year. So
Mhm.
I'll, just stay in touch with him. If I go in the Scrum meeting and things don't go well, I bring it up to him and have those conversations and so on and so forth.
Nice. See what you just said. The last live show we did, I actually touched on this. I said every Scrum Master should have a friend, a best friend. When it comes to Agile, you need that best friend. It's not about you going to ask questions all the time. Sometimes you just need to rant. Really. Sometimes you just need to take out that bad energy, and that person should be the one you're calling. That can you imagine what happened today?
Right? Like, okay, this is what it's all about. You need that constant,
Yeah.
movement that you talked about. But yeah,
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. So let's touch on this. We have 3 more minutes to go through the remaining questions. Let's see what we can do here. In your experience, what are some key qualities or skills that aspiring Scrum Masters should cultivate to succeed in the role? How can individuals leverage their unique background and perspective to bring value to agile teams?
I'll make it short. I'm thinking of two words: um, open-mindedness and working on how you communicate. Because
That's
oftentimes,
powerful. That's powerful.
yeah, oftentimes in meetings, it's just the way people say things, you know. But if you learn how to be open-minded, yes, Scrum says this, but just be open-minded to different ideas and allow experimentation and know how to communicate effectively, you'll be unstoppable. At least in my experience.
Wow. That is there's nothing I could add to that. That is you just wrapped up everything.
Thank you.
That's amazing because sometimes I tell even my mentees and my students that paying your fees is one thing, but being open to learning is another thing. I cannot make it happen for you. I can only support what you're already looking to make happen, really.
Yeah,
So for that to happen, you have to be coachable regardless of your background, regardless of your status, whether you are a chief from where you're coming from, all of that, please. If you want to achieve your goal, even as a scrum master, as an agile practitioner, for you to be successful, you need to have an open mind to continuous learning, be coachable, have that mindset of, okay, you may not always be right. So there may be other things out there. Try to see things from other people's perspective and analyze and then go from there.
yeah. Get rid of the ego. That's just
Yeah.
like when I started working for this organization, the whole thing. Oh, we want you to write user stories and acceptance criteria. I know that part of my mind was like, whoa, but I was like,
That's
no,
my
no,
job.
this is an opportunity for me to learn.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I think right.
beautiful. Yeah, I usually tell people that okay, arrogance and agile has nothing in common, no relationship. So yeah, okay. So let's take on the last but one question. What is the most rewarding aspect of being a Scrum Master for you personally? For me, it's just about what we are doing right now, being able to impact people, being able to change the lives of people through helping them see other possibilities in a very impossible mind of the years, and helping not only showing them that this is possible, but helping them navigating through this path and really see that they have made it possible. That satisfaction they get, that life-changing experience, changing their families through their new lifestyle, is everything to me. So I'm just curious to know what this is to you.
That's a very solid, good question. There's so many. Obviously, there's so many rewards that come with being a Scrum Master. For me, it was being able to show my friends and family that you, as a person, wherever you are right now, you could change your life if you decide you want to change your life. And also, right now, not to boast or anything, I stand out in my family and in my friends. They've seen how I went from, zero to 100 within a short period of time just because I changed my mindset and was
Beautiful.
hungry for what I want. So for me, just setting an example for my family that, hey, it is doable and I'm able to help them in times of need because this
Oh,
very rewarding. Plus, I get to spend time with my family. I don't have to worry about leaving my house. I'm working and multitasking at the same time, hanging out with my family. It's a beautiful thing, and I could have never asked for anything better than this career path.
oh, this is the part where I say, oh. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So I don't want to miss this opportunity to get your contact before we touch on questions. So if people want to contact you or get in contact with you, how can they do that? I know that James also has a YouTube channel. So maybe you want to touch on that, and then I mean if you're interested, and share more on
Yeah,
how they can get in contact with
yeah.
you.
If they're interested in that part, I can always provide that information in LinkedIn or through my email. But for contacts, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm like the only James Asankumatando. Being the Scrum Master, you see the space on there. Email wise, you can email me at jtando, so JTAN as in nation, D as in dog, O as in opera, H as in house, 92 at gmail.com. Feel free to send me an email. If you have any questions, I'm down to hop on the phone. I'm a very open person. I like to talk to people, so please feel free to reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, James. All right. So, team, we finally came to the end. Well, almost the end. We would want to run through if there are any questions here we'll be addressing. But before we touch on the questions, I just want to remind everybody, you all know being agile offers fantastic training, mentoring. We've been talking about it here, coaching for Scrum Masters. So if you're looking to become a James Tando, please reach out to us. Reach out to us. We will be thrilled to walk with you through this journey. If you are already in it and you're stuck and you're thinking it's not possible, we can help you unlock whatever is in your head, okay, and guide you towards success. If you are a Scrum Master already or an Agile practitioner, you want to become an Agile coach. That is one of the recent programs we just launched, actually. Please reach out to us. We have an upcoming cohort starting on Monday for coaching aspiring and practicing agile coaches. I don't want us to remain in one place. We have to grow. We have to grow. So reach out to us, and our other cohort is going to be wrapping up soon, but a new cohort is starting on Monday for agile coaches. We will be happy to help you. Go through the website beingagileconsulting.com, see the programs we offer, go through the agile coaches curriculum, and if it aligns with your growth goals, we will be happy to have more conversations. So that is it. And if you want a resume, LinkedIn, all of that we do, visit beingagileconsulting.com and learn more about our services. So let's take on these questions. I see a question here. Do you learn any particular Did you learn any particular programs before you got a job, like Jira, for example?
Yes, I did. I know when I was in a course, we had groups and we would experiment with the Jira and the Scrum board, and yeah, so Jira was one, and at one point we used I think Mural. It's been a while, but yeah, Jira.
Mural. I think you're talking about Mural.
Yeah, yeah, but Jira was the very first. Right now in my organization, we use Azure DevOps. I'm very well versed in that now, so let's expand.
Awesome. Great. Well, I think that's really the only question. Again, right after this video, if you still have questions, you know the video will be live on this channel here. Go ahead and still post your questions, and I'm going to find James to come answer your questions for you. Well, so this brings us to the end of our show. Again, for those who joined late, we covered two things today. We launched my first ever book, from day one to success, a step-by-step guide for Scrum Masters joining a new organization or a new team or a new project. The book is live on Amazon. So if you type Karen Fomafung, if my name is too complex for you to type, just type the title of the book. I'm sure it will pop up for you. If you're not sure, send an email and ask. We will guide you. Get your copy. If you read your copy, please, please, please write us a review. Okay. If you have more things to say than the review can carry, send us an email and let us really know what you think about the book. And we also shared Jay's success story as a senior Scrum Master, his entire journey until now as a senior Scrum Master. So please, you can always go back to the replay and catch up. And if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. And most importantly, we share our programs that we are offering: trainings, mentoring, coaching, resume, LinkedIn, all of that we do. So visit our website, beingagileconsulting.com, and please make sure that you're reaching out if you have questions. We also have a backup YouTube channel, which I don't know why I don't talk about that so much. We are almost getting to 1,000 subscribers. So if there is still anyone that has not subscribed to our Being Agile Consulting Remix backup channel, please make sure you go subscribe so that we are building it. This one almost got hacked. We don't want to be left hanging. Okay. So please make sure that you are helping us build that channel so that we can stay here and continue to bring the goodies to you. Thank you so very much. And James, I really appreciate you. What cannot even express how much I appreciate you for being here today. And have an amazing rest of your Sunday.
Will do, and thank you, and I really appreciate this. This is an honor for sure to come and share with the team. So yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.